Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 11. We're here for round 7. It's the Italian Grand Prix at the track of Monza. We have 14 drivers at the moment, still awaiting at least 3 more. Grush, Birdie, and the Dutch Dodo. One of them's definitely joining. I don't know about the other two, but at the moment, qualifying has begun then. Warren will have a qualifying ban for today, so he'll start at the back. So he'll get disqualified, serve his ban. And I'm apparently hearing it could be a rain to dry race, or the other way around. Considering Frosty's questioning it. But there we go. Warren served his qualifying ban. So, we have 2 Haas cars, 2 Sauber cars, and 1 Ferrari car in terms of their home race for their manufacturers. Unfortunately, Yonder isn't racing tonight. So that's one of the Ferraris. So it's just Dello representing the Scuderia. As Josh heads out onto the track then, Charlie making his way through the Lesmos now. The 2 Saubers, we have Adam, who's won the last 2 races. Started 6th in Qatar, went through the field to win. Started 2nd last week in Imola, got spun, was down in 8th, and also came through the field to take a brilliant win once again. He's looking for 3 in a row that can definitely put him towards the top of the standings. Currently in 4th, but we got a few surprises for today. Bluey, unfortunately, he has announced that he will be leaving after next week. So this is his penultimate Grand Prix in EXFL Tier 2. So I believe next week is the Spanish Grand Prix. So Italy and Spain left for the RB driver. So hopefully he enjoys these 2 races really well. We've got Chubster in the Mercedes. Looks like it's Mercedes versus Williams for the constructors. Chubster and Eggy versus Samurai and Kobe. Speaking of Samurai, championship leader by 3 points as he's about to gear up on a lap. That F1 boy, Abra, hasn't raced for a few races but is back in his Alpine now. We've got Frosty Life, now the most experienced driver in Tier 2 history. 1 ahead of the Season 9 champion of Seb. And after today, that'll be 2. So hopefully he can put his experience to good use. We've got Christian, who's looking pretty good. On the run up to the qualifying. His laps have been looking decent, so he just needs to make sure he focuses on stuff like that and not going wide, getting warnings, because I believe that may have been this the next lap or not, because it doesn't show red, so maybe he got away with it. Evan is currently a 26-2 of the first sector, 2nd in the World Championship, 3 points behind. He would have led the championship by a point heading into today if he hadn't have made a mistake on the last lap of Imola. Big mistake there as well at Lesmo 2 that lost him 2 points to Samurai. So 1 point goes to 3 instead of 1 in his favour. Warren served his qualifying ban. And the last 2 who have just gone 1st and 2nd. Eggy, who took his first pole position last time out in Imola. After 58 attempts, he's finally done it. Become the 69th different pole sitter. And if I had to put my money on there being a 70th, it would be Adam. 4 wins, 0 poles. That's a record at the moment. And then there is Kobe, who, after doing his 2 races in Bahrain and Saudi and taking 3rd and 1st, he said he's got an operation. He's going to have to miss 6 weeks or so. And he'll return at like the halfway stage, which pretty much put his any chances of his championship fight on hold. But he's back. He's had the operation. It's gone all well. And he said it's looking good. He did a race a couple of days ago and everything was fine. So he's back pretty early compared to where he thought he would be. So he's right in the fight already, 6/10 clear of Eggy. So I'm sure he will definitely be a spanner in the works for the likes of Adam and Evan. As Evan will clearly have to go again as he's making his way through Lesmo 1. It just seems like he can't get the turn in because he's gone wide once again. But yeah, this time at Lesmo 1 instead of Lesmo 2. Grush will be joining in a minute. That's good. And Noah said he's having issues with his Game Pass. So those two... Whoa, as Evan goes around at the Ascari. Those two should be joining soon, hopefully. I have no idea where Birdie is. I'll quickly invite them. Right. So, Frosty went up to third, ahead of both Saubers. Samurai, once again, like always, does a lap, and then we'll go once again, and it's P4. But yeah, that is quite a gap Kobe has against Eggy, but we're still waiting for the likes of Adam to set a lap. Same with Evan. He hasn't actually got a proper run in so far. But yep, Italy being the second biggest change to the calendar, as joining the session is Grush. There he is. Yeah, obviously the biggest circuit change was Qatar. Oh my god, that's the worst one so far. I do not know what's going on with the Lesmos for Evan. But that's the third time. And all three of them, it's not gone exactly his way. But yeah, Qatar was moved from the 21st race of the season to the 5th. And Italy was moved from about the 14th, 15th race of the season to the 7th. Those have been the main moves throughout the calendar. This double header in Italy. And then, well, we've kicked off the European start of the season with, yeah, 2 races in Italy of Imola and Monza. And then we'll head to Spain, Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium. And then rounded out, I guess, technically in Baku. Yeah, still waiting for a lap time to be set by Adam and Bluey, as they're both heading out the pit lane now. Grush will load up his setup. Christian weaving this way and that on the back straight. He's about to begin his run. And yeah, Evan, unfortunately, after nearly 8 minutes of running, no time on the board for him. So still a 6/10 gap between Kobe and Eggy. 18.9. And what I'm assuming pole will be, because I know tier 1 will be in the 17s, so tier 2 should be what, mid 18s? You'd think, as that's going really slowly out of the pit lane for Kobe, that Grush decided to overtake him as Christian has just began his lap past the first chicane. This track is literally just 3 chicanes and 2 right-handers. And 1 little hairpin at the end. 26-1 though for Christian. That was better than what Evan, I think, managed to achieve wide into the grass and gravel there, however. Still keeps it valid through Lesmo 1 and 2. Keeping it just within the confines, as it is a difficult section to navigate. Obviously, low wings. I don't even doubt that some may even be running 0-0. Hence why the corners may be quite a nightmare for some. 52.5 heading into Ascari as he finishes the middle sector split. Looks all well and good. Purple, according to that. Don't know if we can trust that too much. But a lot of people now on their outlaps. Adams just began his lap heading into turn 1. We'll look at the rest of Christian's lap into the Parabolica. Looking very tidy indeed. Line of least resistance going over to the right. And we'll cross the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 19.0 to put himself on the front row. I said Christian was looking good. And that is a very fine lap time. We'll look back now to another challenge of Adam. Christian did a 0.1. Adam has done a 0.2. Interesting. Christian faster than Adam in the first sector. But as Adam got the wings, because it looks like he took Lesmo 1 much tidier than anyone else I've seen so far. Through Lesmo 2, a lot of inside curb, as he's really trying to fight the car for those precious thousandths. Not really too much traffic in his way. Obviously, the McLaren of, I think that's Christian ahead, Frosty ahead of him. Middle set to split, didn't quite see it. But he'll do a Scotty now. Very nice indeed. And he's going to pick up a little bit of a slipstream from the McLaren. He moves out of the way, but he's going to take full advantage of the McLaren and the Sauber. Just getting out of the way there. So this could help Adam potentially put it on provisional pole. So across the line then, it's going to be a 1 minute 19.3. He's actually lost some time there. So he's P3 at the moment. So Christian still on the front row as Kobe is going even quicker now. And he's looking much better for favourite for pole. His teammate gets out the way. He's got a few cars ahead of him, but shouldn't be any worry. They get so close to the grass on the left there. But he's taken the Parabolica very nicely, and this could be well into the 18.5s potentially. Crosses the line. It's a 1 minute 18.4. Kobe absolutely throwing a marker down as Josh goes P3. And Kobe, who took pole in Saudi, as Chubster goes P3. Very close between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Christian still on the front row. As Eggy now takes back his front row. But that is nearly half a second to Kobe there. Wow. Anyone else doing runs? 6 minute 40 to go. Bluey, the slowest at the moment. Evan as 3.8 seconds down. I believe this is a lap. So diving into turn 1 then. Taking the exact perfect line. A wheel over that little orange sausage curb. Slightly dipping into the grass there. But he's taken that perfectly. Because he's the final challenger. Who's not up there at the top currently. Finishes the middle first sector split. It's a 0.2 as well. Like it was for Adam, who's currently in 6th. Make sure to avoid all the grass and gravel on the left through Lesmo 1. This is where he's been struggling, but this time round he's got it right. Now Lesmo 2. And this time he is giving it everything as Dello crosses the line to be P3 for Ferrari. Good stuff from him. Middle sector split. A 0.5 as well. It's looking good for Evan. Here we go. So yeah, Evan, who's taken the most poles of the season so far. We've had 6 races. He's taken pole in half of them with 3. Samurai was on pole for the opening round. Kobe was on pole for round 4. And Eggy was on pole last time out in round 6. In round 7, what can Evan do in response to Kobe's 18.4? Crosses the line, and it's P5 with a 19.2 for the Aston Martin. Williams, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston... Another Mercedes, Sauber, Haas, 7 different teams in the top 8 there. Samurai down in 9th, the championship leader. And it's all well and close from maybe Dello to Samurai, but that gap is the gap between 1st and 2nd. And Kobe really feeling at one here with the track, with his car, with the game. And they're just all heading back into the pits now. 5 minutes to go. And they'll gear up to go for their final run. If you didn't hear at the start of the stream, Frosty Life said dry to wet race, ? Because obviously it's on approximate. It could be the opposite of dry to wet or wet to dry and whatnot. But either way, it looks like we're going to get some rain. And it looks like Birdie is not joining. I don't know where he is. As for Noah, well, he's unreliable as hell, so probably not joining either. So Warren will start 15th at the moment. He's got a lot to do. Last season, he technically won on track, but obviously he had pens, so he finished 3rd in the end, or 2nd, with Eggy, with Josh Hewitt winning his 10th race, obviously breaking the record at Italy last season for the most wins by a Tier 2 driver in history. Went on to win here one more, his 11th, and probably most famous victory at Vegas from 18th on the grid, which put one hand on the championship for him pretty much. Yep, one season later, and it's looking like Kobe's the one to beat, but we haven't actually seen how he is in in wet conditions. We've seen him under the night sky at Bahrain and Saudi. So yeah, this should be an interesting one. Adam, beginning his run now, 3 minutes 14. So he's going to be one of the earlier drivers, getting out just ahead of all the drivers exiting the pit lane. Taking the first chicane very nicely. We haven't seen anyone dip into the zeros yet in the first sector, unless Kobe may have done on his run. Whereas for everyone else, it's been a 0.1, 0.2. Adam, 0.0. There it is. As he heads in to the middle chicane, making sure not to bump over the orange curbs. Takes the second chicane very nicely. Now, Lesmo 1, diving the car in, keeping it fully within the confines. In Lesmo 2 now. He's got the confidence, and there's a Sauber up ahead who might give him a bit of slipstream if he doesn't get out of the way in time. But for his sake, hopefully he doesn't hold him up. He does move out of the way into Ascari. He's found 3/10, and this is looking good for a potential front row. A little hesitant into Ascari there. Feel like he could have attacked it a bit more, but now one corner left, and he's got the RB, I believe, of Bluey ahead of him, who shouldn't be too much of a bother. Heading into the final corner, goes straight on. That's going to be a little distracting for Adam, but he takes the Parabolica very nicely indeed. So, what could be his last attempt in qualifying? He's never been on pole before, but he's won the last 2 races. He crosses the line, and it's the second row for Adam. Yeah, lost a bit of time, potentially, but he needed a whole another 10th. And it looks like Josh is doing 2 outlaps, but he has to make sure he gets out of the way of Bluey. There we go. Into turn 1 for Bluey. I mean, he's got 2.4 seconds to find to beat someone, and if he did, that would definitely be the closest he's ever been to pole position. I'm pretty sure the closest he's ever been is like 2.2 seconds or something like that. But they're all beginning their last runs now, and it looks like Josh, like I said, is doing 2 outlaps to get the temp in his tyres. Evans about to head around the final corner. Samurai right behind him, the top 2 in the World Championship. Samurai 10 points ahead of Eggy, who's looking good in qualifying as recently, is on the front row. And here will begin his lap soon. Kobe's exiting the pits now. Has he accidentally waited too long? Because unless he straight lines every corner like that, will he get to the line? I honestly don't think he will. So it's going to be close. Delo's also exiting now as well. Way too late for first and third. So, who else can challenge? What could Christian do? He's exactly level in his first sector, which is a good first sector anyway. And I believe his best ever qualifying has been 5th or 4th. It was, what? Japan? No, Spain? Austria. I definitely remember he was up there. He's found even more time. Could Christian potentially be, for the first time, on the front row in that McLaren? He's looking marvellous so far. What about Evan? Oh my god, he's done a 25.9. He's gone wide. He's invalidated what could have been a potential pole lap. Christian round the final corner. He's got enough time to put it on the front row. The question is, can he do it? The McLaren at Monza goes to P2. Good lap from Christian. And he's beaten Eggy, who's invalidated, so he will not get back on the front row. Who else can challenge? What about Chubster? He's down by 2 thousandths in the first sector. We got a few heading around the final corner, including the championship leader. He's got a chance to out-qualify Evan, who's in 6th. Where can Samurai place his Williams? Across the line for the championship leader. It's ahead of his championship rival. 6th and 7th for them. What about Josh? 76 thousandths down. What about Chubster then? Round the final corner, slightly up. Could he potentially get his Mercedes on the 3rd row? Ahead of Samurai and Evan. Crosses the line, and he does. In between Adam and Samurai. What about Frosty Life, the other McLaren? P10 for him. I'm waiting for Grush, Bluey, and Josh to finish it out. Kobe is going to definitely get pole position here, as Josh stays where he is in 9th. And Grush finding a couple tenths. Bluey will head into the pit lane. He will qualify last of the times. And it'll just be Grush then. Kobe has taken his 2nd pole position. Christian is on the front row for the first time ever. Grush goes to P12 ahead of Charlie. And we'll just wait for Blue to retire in the pit lane then. But yeah, wow. Evan really could have challenged there right at the end. But again, it's just Lesmo 1 and 2 every lap. Bar 1 maybe, he was struggling. And that really did look like a good lap to challenge Kobe, but it just wasn't enough in the end with the mistake. So, yep. Christian had said a few times to me, he's feeling good for this one. He's looking quick. And he's certainly delivered probably the highlight of his Tier 2 career so far with a front row. Now, he just needs to focus on not getting time penalties, and if he has the pace to hold on to that. I believe his best ever finish in Tier 2 is 5th or 6th. But yeah, Like Frosty said then, it's going to be a wet to dry race. So many Italy races I've seen on this game have just had rain. It just seems like a common thing. Yeah. This is 15 Tier 2 drivers heading into Turn 1 at Monza. This could get ugly. If just one person messes up their braking, this could get very ugly. Anyway. No shock. Everyone's on inters. So, the changeover point will be a crucial part of the race. Setup changes, fuel loads, strategy's a bit out the window at the moment. They're just going to have to go until whenever it gets dry. Obviously, we have the formation lap first for them to at least get accustomed to the weather. Green flags waving to signal the start of lap 0. And Kobe and Christian will weave away ahead of Eggy and Dello. Dello for Ferrari. P4. I believe that's Dello's best ever qualifying as well. So, yeah, let's not let that go over our heads. Well done to Dello for P4, out qualifying Adam and Evan and Samurai and whatnot. Really good stuff for Dello. Could he potentially get his first ever podium in his 24th race in Tier 2? Because he's best of the rest in terms of the Ferrari engines. Then Adam, then Josh, then Charlie, and then Warren right at the back will have a lot of overtaking to do. We know he's one of the most aggressive drivers and gets his elbows out, maybe a bit too much, as he's really slowing down. Get on with it. As Kobe will lead them away. Look at that, he's also leaving the pack a bit behind. Christian struggling through the Lesmo, as they're all just trying to find their feet in this weather. Have we actually had a wet race this season for Tier 2? Round 1 had a wet qualifying in Australia. The race was fine. Japan was fine. And then we obviously had a triple night race header. So nothing happened there. And then Imola last week, nothing happened in terms of weather. It was just dry. So this will be their first running in a race setting where it's been wet. So we'll see who can capitalise and who can't. Because, again, a lot of them will have pretty low wings. Anywhere from 0-0 to, I don't know, 16. I don't know why they would. But we have Grush and Charlie who are on the grid already. So they must have had a moment. But yeah, Kobe settling into his grid slot, pointing straight forward. Same with Christian. A never before seen front row combination. Eggy behind. Making sure not to fail his parking. Dello's already on his grid slot. Then Adam. Then Chubster. Doing pretty well for Mercedes, considering 8 points separate Mercedes and Williams. Then Evan. Then Josh. Then Frosty. Then Abra. Grush and Charlie already in there. Slots. Bluey. And then Warren already at the back. And we are all ready for round 7 of Tier 2, Season 11 in EXFL. It's the Italian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. And it's a good start at the back from Dello, as he's already drawing alongside Christian. It might be 3 wide between them, but as going off there is Samurai, dropping down. His teammate, however, leads into Turn 1. Can they all make it through without any contact? Diving down the insides of the Red Bull of Grush, but it looks like they've all made it through until the McLaren and Haas go side by side, and that's Evan sliding back on into the track, into a car. Madness at the start. What more did you expect? Kobe leads them away then ahead of Eggy, Dello. Christian's dropped 2 places, and he's under pressure from Josh, who's making up a 5th place in 3 corners. What a start from the Salva. Then Chubster staying where he is after all that. Adam down into the gravel, down in 8th as Samurai has overtaken them. I think he's got an illegal and has to give them back. So Charlie's up to 7th as well. What a start for the 2 Salvas. Evan, he might have some words to say after he lost the car and then rejoined straight into the path of, I think it was Adam. And I wouldn't be surprised if some have damage. Adam, I think, is missing both his left and right end plate. As Samurai fighting back against Charlie. And the top 2 in the championship, 9th and 7th. And I'm pretty sure we weren't going to get through all that without a bit of chaos. It's still not over. They're really struggling at this stage. And Evans got past Charlie. Samurai back ahead now of Chubster. as Christian's really struggling. Look how much he's losing. Look how much Samurai's better in the corners. But Christian's just held off Samurai. Kobe leads 2 seconds ahead of Eggy. Delo's up to third for Ferrari. And what a start from Josh. Up 5 places as it's nearly 4 wide. Evan has just cleared all of them. The top 2 in the championship now. Side by side as Samurai's under pressure from Chubster, who's trying to go round his outside. Goes deep, leaves the space, and behind, Christian, unfortunately, has fallen from 2nd down to 8th within the span of 1 lap. Charlie, then Frosty, and then Warren's made up 4 places. Adam's in the pit lane to change his front wing. Disaster for the race winner in the last 2 weeks. Abel's dropped down to 14th. Bluey up 2 places as we look further towards turn 4, as that's Charlie going straight on, slowing down so he doesn't get a pen, slowing down way too much. As I don't know what's going to happen to him for the rest of the race. Kobe looks like he has the pace ahead of Eggy. Delo and Josh, they've been the survivors of lap 1. I really do not know what else happened. Turn 1 was all fine, as that's both McLarens swapping. And then turn 2, one of the McLarens, it may have been Christian, got connected with someone else. And then Evan slid and rejoined the track very dangerously into Adam, I believe. And then the rest just had to avoid, and Josh managed to gain so much throughout all that carnage. Charlie saying my bad to Grush, as I think he did brake too late into the 2nd chicane. But yeah, Grush up into the points under pressure from Warren. Samurai right behind Evan, who sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So these two are charging. They know 3 points separate them. At the moment, it would be down to 1 point again. And Eggy, who's currently only 10 points behind these two, would be right with them in the championship. And they'd only be a few points separating all 3 of them. And Adam, who's 4th in the championship, down in last. So Kobe, who's, well, he's lacking about 30 points off the top. Looking very good at the moment. Who gained 8 tenths on Eggy in that lap. But so far has only gained 1 tenth on Eggy, who's looking pretty racy in these opening laps. And Delo and Josh, they're just kind of equaling their distance between one another, but Evan's getting a move on. He's enjoying these conditions, it seems. Very hectic opening first few laps. Wow. Chubster looks like he's under pressure from Frosty. Unfortunately for Christian, this is probably not what he wanted. I don't know if he has any damage, but his race certainly has taken a hit. 2nd down to 9th, and that's Evan already getting past Josh before Ascari. Really on it, as they've all got pretty much high battery because you can't really blast it all in these conditions. So Evan really on the charge. Good stuff from him. And next up, Delo. So Eggy's lost about half a second, 6 tenths on this lap to Kobe, 30.4. We'll see what Evan does as he crosses the line. He's done a 29.9, so he's half a second quicker than the leader, and he's currently 6.2 seconds off him. Interesting. We'll leave it at that. Oh, I didn't even realise Adam sped into the pit lane as Christian. A bad day gets worse, unfortunately. Grush is now ahead of him into P9. Goes a little deep, but will certainly hold on to the place. Charlie finding a way with Bluey to the inside in his penultimate race. Bluey to the inside. Gets P13 now ahead of the Sauber. Good stuff from the RB. And next up is Abra. And here comes Warren to add more salt in the wound, unfortunately. Ahead of Christian to knock him out of the points. They break evenly. Warren has the inside line. He's much further ahead. And now he's into P10. Or is he? He definitely is now because he parked it there ahead of Christian. Bit of contact, but he's got the place done. Grush, 3 seconds off Frosty. Still putting Chubster under pressure now. He's blasting all his battery that he possibly can in a straight line. As we see, Evan is closed up to Delo, who's closed up to Eggy, who seems to be really struggling now. As Kobe comfortably in the lead. Evan now blasting his battery, turning it off. Delo blasting his to keep Evan behind him. Evan has pretty good straight line speed and will probably wait until the straight, but he's hit Delo wide there, and that could probably be a push to pass unless he decides to give it back, which I don't think he is. Samurai's ahead of Josh now. So unless Evan decides to give that back within the next 5 corners, that's 2 things he's under investigation for. Lap 1 and that. But now he's found himself up in a 3rd. And next up will be Eggy. So yeah, running into the back of the Ferrari at Parabolica, sending him wide, deep. And yeah, that allowed Evan to gain the momentum he needed. 6.2 now turns into 5.6. He's clearly the fastest man on track. And he knows, well, he may have a few penalties coming his way, so he better get on with it. And yeah, Samurai doing a good job to clear Josh. He's fallen a bit backwards now, as Chubster and Chubster and Frosty Life are closing up to him. That may have been a bit of a mistake from Chubster there. It stopped raining, as you can see. 5 laps into the race. So now it will just depend how quickly the track dries. And to be honest, the track looks pretty dry. But it's still greasy. And it's going to take a few laps for it to get more grippy. Warren with the first 3-second time pen of the evening. Evan all over the back of Eggy there. He nearly loses the car trying to get ahead. Dello trying to stick with. Samurai leaving Josh in the clutches of Chubster and Frosty. Look further up then. Has Evan got what it takes to get Eggy into turn 1? Bit on the grass. That's going to send him wide. So Eggy will have a bit more of a run. Kobe, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 29.5. Evan crosses the line. Can he take it back away? No. But he's close enough to Eggy to fly past him on the straight and move himself up into P2. And he's closing Eggy off for any sort of attack. Eggy slightly taps him, but all good. Close. Elbows out, but fair enough. And Warren a bit on his own in P10. Grush closing up to Frosty, who's lost a bit of time to Chubster, who's on the back of Josh. Samurai will hope to hunt down Dello and Eggy. Because at this rate, these two are still fighting for a podium. Dello and Eggy. And you can see how much better through the corners Dello is on Eggy. Maybe not in the straights and on the exits. Look at that. He's just gaining so much through the corners. He's having a lift. And when will DRS get enabled? That's the other thing. He's having to make sure he doesn't run into the back of the Mercedes. Dello, who wants the first podium in EXFL Tier 2. And where better to get it on Ferrari's home ground as he's pulling to the inside on the Mercedes. They're going to go wheel to wheel into Ascari. Dello to the inside. Cuts the corner to get ahead. That might also be an illegal overtake. But he's ahead of Eggy for now. And unless he gives it back, that might also be looked into. But Eggy's keeping with him. And Evans 5 seconds behind Kobe. So he's going to try and chase him down. You can see Samurai closing up to Eggy and Dello. And when we say 5 corners, oh, Samurai's in, that's about half the corners on this track. So Samurai blinks first, then potentially for the dries. And looks like Dello is not giving the place back on Eggy. Goes very deep though. And that has been 5 corners. So into the pit lane. Samurai puts the hard compound tyres on to potentially go to the end of the race. He might be a bit slow at the start considering how greasy it is at the moment. They're not doing lap times anywhere near dry running, I think. Well, maybe a couple seconds off. As you can see in turn 1 and 2, he's sliding. There's very little grip. And he's put the hards on of all tyres. Same with Frosty and Warren, as that's Dello getting past Evan. Because Evan has made a mistake. He's got wing damage. Once again, through the Lesmos, Evan just can't seem to get the car under control. And he's lost it into the wall as Charlie and Abra make a swap. And unfortunately, as DRS is enabled, maybe it was a good lap to pit, as that's Bluey going off at the first chicane. Well, that's unfortunate for Evan. He's going to have to change his wing now. As you can see, he's lost an end plate. I think on the right of his car. Yeah. So he was making good ground, but that's just allowed Kobe to stretch his legs a little more. And I'm sure everyone will be pitting. They have to make sure not to speed. It is a quite quick pit lane. Oh my god. I'm going to guess that was Evan hitting the back of Eggy there a little. Luckily, that didn't send Eggy into getting a speeding pen. They've all managed to stop in time. And yeah, it's a no-brainer for them all. And who's going to get caught up by this? Chubster will. Charlie will. And Abra's unfortunately sped. Adam, unfortunately, will have to serve his pen as well. So heading out the pit lane. Where's Samurai? In comparison, he's flying past all of them. And 1 lap earlier, Samurai's pulled the strategy to himself by pitting 1 lap earlier. It's a Williams 1-2 in Monza. So good decision from Samurai in the end there. as the track looks dry enough now, and he's managed to gain a few seconds on Dello, Eggy, and Evan, who decided not to change his wing, as that may have lost him too much. I mean, it probably would have put him around Frosty or Chubster. Frosty has got ahead of Chubster due to being held up by Eggy. And yeah, great stuff from the championship leader there, as that's wide for Dello. As DRS is enabled, Dello not within a second, Eggy with plenty of battery to use, and Evan's going to have to try this again with a damaged car, and with what I would probably maybe assume is anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds of penalties coming his way. Remember, Dello may also have a 5-second coming his way too. Samurai looks fine, Kobe looks fine, Eggy looks fine at the moment. But yeah, Josh has closed up to a second behind Evan, who just seems like he's struggling. He really maybe should have changed that wing. And as much as it is a Williams 1-2 right now, how much does Dello want to try and overtake Samurai? As Evan's in again. And this all could have been aborted without... it's unfortunate. He really... Unless he meant to change his wing. That's interesting. Kobe's on mediums. I'll get back to that in a sec. Unfortunately... Whoa. To the inside. Grush and Warren fighting away. Warren trying to get the place on the Red Bull. Warren with barely any battery. Same with Grush, to be fair. So he'll live to fight another lap at the moment. Yeah, unfortunately, that's Evan out of the Italian Grand Prix. Second in the World Championship. May drop to third after this with Eggy looking in a good position. That's going to bring a sigh of relief to Samurai, who will extend his championship lead from 3 points to, at the moment, 21. But obviously, Eggy will reduce that because he'll move into second. Yeah, unfortunate for Evan. Well, I'm going to assume he tried to change his thing from auto to yes or something. Maybe the game, I guess, didn't, or maybe no, and the game didn't change his wing. So Evan knew he was going to lose quite a lot of time, and he's decided that's it for his Italian Grand Prix. He's out of the race and becomes the first retirement. And I'll tell you what, on to the next subject. Kobe pitted for mediums, which I'm sure will not go to the end, but he is going to have to pit again. He will be rapid at the end, but also, to be fair, kind of ignoring that, as Samurai and Dello fight, and Dello's also on the mediums. I didn't realise. Round the outside goes Dello. Lovely move from the Ferrari, but Samurai has got the switchback, but Dello's got the traction, he's got the battery, and now, in front of the Tifosi, he's up into P2. So the top two, both on mediums, surely having to pit again. This is a pretty good position for Samurai to be in. Eggy on mediums, the rest all on hards, Abro on mediums, Adam fastest lap. He's got a lot to do to try and salvage any points here. But if anyone can do it, Adam maybe can. Well, all I was going to say is that Samurai's pace compared to his teammate on a slower compound isn't actually too bad. And, well, that adds a bit more, doesn't it? Kobe's got a 3-second time penalty now. That's a yellow for Charlie, I think. Going off there. He was up a few places, but now has dropped out of the points, unfortunately. Warren to the inside, putting Grush under big pressure, getting another time penalty as he slides over Ascari. And there are quite a few battles here happening all throughout. There we go. So yeah, top two are most definitely probably not going to make it to the end. So Samurai's looking in a good place, but 20 laps on hards isn't any walk in the park, really. So Kobe could potentially get his pit stop back. As we see Chubster flying past. Frosty Live back up into 6th. Josh all over the back of Eggy. These two, remember, were on similar strategies in Imola. And Josh just had the pace because Eggy was tyre saving. So this time round, I'm sure Eggy will want to stay ahead of the Sauber. As that's Adam getting past Bluey. So one down, a few more to go. He'll definitely be within 10 of Abro at the end, as he's setting fastest laps. I mean, he has to pit as well, so you never know. Anyway, looking further front. 9 seconds. It's not the longest pit lane ever. It's, I think, a standard 20 seconds. So Kobe would drop, well, around this area of the cars. So that could be an interesting fight, as Josh has cleared Eggy before we get to Ascari. Easy move for him. And he's back up in the 4th. Not a million miles off Samurai, who's sticking with Dello, kind of using him a little, considering he's on the mediums, to tow him along a little. And the gap's kind of staying constant now between Dello and Kobe, so that's good. Race pace seems a lot better. And look at that, they're setting fastest laps, while Kobe's just keeping the gap constant as Charlie fights away with Christian into Parabolica, and Dello fights away with Samurai into the first chicane. Good space left between them. Now Samurai has the momentum with the battery and gets back up in a P2. So good fighting between them, as much as they've lost half a second or whatnot. That's Charlie trying to break the toe ahead of Christian. Probably moved about one or two, maybe two more times than probably allowed. But anyway, Charlie's still ahead of Christian. And yeah, once Abra pits and serves that 10, he'll be right with Adam. Maybe even behind him. 10.4 now. Kobe's getting on with it this lap. Look at that, 7/10. He's blasted all his battery. He's really trying to put in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix now. But if they have to pit again, surely that will be the fastest lap. Anyway, Samurai under pressure now from Dello, who's now under pressure from Josh and Eggy, who are getting brought into this. A 4-car fight for P2, and if they fight enough, it could be a 6-car fight. And let Chubster and Frosty close up to these guys. And there we go. 22-1. Which is, what, 7/10, I think? Bloody hell. Yeah, 7/10 to Josh's fastest lap. Now Samurai's under pressure from Dello. But is Dello close enough? He's keeping it in hot lap. Now he's keeping it in overtake. And he's gaining on the Williams. But is he close enough for a move? No, he stays behind for now. So they keep in single file. Does second down to 5th. As we're about to hit the halfway stage of the race. And they pitted around, what, lap 8? So if there's 20 laps, they should pit around lap 17, 18, the medium runners. So Samurai looking in a good position. Hasn't won since the opening round in Australia, but has led the championship in every race bar one. Ahead of what was his rival of Evan, who I'm sure will try and bounce back next time out in Spain, as Grush still ahead of Warren. Good fighting between these guys. Charlie holding off Christian. I mean, he didn't have to slow down that much when he went off the track at the start of the race. He could have been right with Warren and Grush. Or on his own. As that's Chubster with a 3-second. Warren to the inside. Now gets the place ahead of Grush. I think just kept within track limits there. So Warren now ahead, but Grush will come back at him. We have a yellow, and that is F1 boy at the moment. On the exit of Lesmo 2, who's made a big mistake. He's lost the right end plate of his wing. And now we see second down to 5th again. They're all just a bit too far spread out for any sorts of moves. Samurai blasting a little bit of battery just to help his cause into turn 1. And looking further back, Grush back ahead of Warren. As the skies are really opening now. And it looks like at this stage it might be where the hards start to become a bit better than the mediums. And Dello might fall into the clutches of Josh and Eggy soon. And yeah, you can see Chubster closing in on Eggy too. And bringing Frosty along with him. So Abrar into the pit lane now. Has to serve that 10. He's going to be close to getting lapped soon, unfortunately. So he'll put the hard compound tyres on to try and go to the end of the race. And yeah, 1.9 to 1.8, now down to 1.5. As the guys in front, you can see they're saving their battery. Well, maybe not Dello, but I'm sure Eggy wouldn't mind his teammate getting within a DRS. As 2nd and 5th have done well not to get any time penalties. Same can't be said, unfortunately, for Warren, who's been dropped by Grush. And if the top guys really do fight that much, then maybe Grush could join this fight. Grush has been very consistent this season to still be 5th in the championship, I believe, or 6th or whatnot. But here we go. Dello gaining on Samurai, but it's still not enough. And, yeah. With DRS, they gained a little bit on Chubster. But through these corners, you can just see 1.5 to 1.4, now 1.3. As that's Charlie getting ahead of Warren, who's retired in the pit lane, unfortunately. All his time pens. I don't know if that... he probably still could have held on to P10 there, but he's decided to call it there. So we've lost Evan, we've lost Warren. That promotes Christian back up into the points, and Adam, well, I'm sure he'll be trying to nick that off him. Maybe even P9 as well. 1.2 now. 1.1 between the two Mercedes. Might go a bit bigger now because the guys in front have DRS. But he's left Frosty Life behind now. Well, that's not going to help his cause. Unfortunately, Frosty Life has left the session, so he was about to join this train, but it looks like it's only going to be Chubster now. He's definitely within DRS and blasting quite a lot of his battery to make sure he's within DRS. Second, third, and fourth just seem way too spread out here. Eggy has the battery to maybe get Josh. But they're on lap 16. I'd expect in the next lap or so, Dello and Kobe to be pitting. And can the hard runners go to the end, or will they also try and make a pit stop? We'll see. Dello nearly gets Josh out of a second there. But yeah, 5 cars scrap now. 2 Mercedes, 1 Williams, 1 Ferrari, 1 Sauber. And a reminder that, Evan will probably get some penalties after this race, but he's out of the race anyway, so it doesn't really change too much. So the only driver at the moment who I'd say is probably under investigation is Dello, who overtook Eggy off the track, I think, into Ascari. So he might have a 5-second looming over him because he didn't give it back. Depends if Eggy or someone reports it. But at the moment, Dello looking good. Besides that investigation thing, he's still trying to go for that first podium. And for Ferrari, at their home race, that would be a great first podium to have, as he's definitely driving one of his best races so far. And he looks a bit closer to Samurai this lap, doesn't he? Kobe's in. And what about Dello? Does he pit the same lap? No, he stays out. But Kobe is in then. He's got a lot of work to do. He puts the hard compound tyres on to go to the end, as Adam unfortunately now gets a penalty. So, top 5, all separated by about 1.5 seconds now for the Grand Prix win. It'll probably become 4 soon, as Dello will definitely have to pit, which could upset his race hugely, as Kobe's come out in 8th. I'm going to invite Frosty one more time. He's probably restarting. As that's Josh getting past Dello there to the inside. Crucial move, to be fair, because if it is Samurai to win this race, if you are Josh or Eggy or Chubster, mainly Eggy and Josh because Chubster has a 3-sec, you want to be close to him to fight for this win. And Josh has done just that. He's got 2 second places so far this season and a P7 on 42 points. Chubster's got the exact same, 2 second places and a P7. They're level, both on 42 points. They've both never won a race in Tier 2 before. As Grush gets ahead of Frosty's AI now, and I'm sure Kobe will do the exact same. And will catch Grush a pretty good place. Actually, that's probably not the best place, because now he's going to lose some time. He is currently 12 seconds off the lead. And they're all very close. So Samurai will start lap 18, but can Josh take it away from him? He's not got the most battery, and Samurai's actually pitting, and he gets a 10-second penalty for speeding the championship leader, who pit. So it looks like those on hards can't go to the end. It looks like they are going to have to pit again. Is anyone going to try and go to the end? Oh, that is such disappointment for Samurai. And I'm sure Evan, who was 3 points behind him heading into this, will be loving that. As, Kobe's certainly going to be looking in a good position if these 3 have to pit again. But surely, if you are Josh, Eggy, or Chubster, one of you tries to go to the end if you've looked after your tyres enough. But Josh now in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix for Sauber, with the Ferrari engine powering him through Lesmo 2. Kobe, 10 seconds off these guys now. He's going to be right on them as Abel gets a penalty. Down in 13th. Bluey in 12th. Adam, he's a pit stop behind. As Samurai gets ahead of Charlie up in a P7. Yeah, that 10-second is really going to hurt his chances now. Frosty back in his car in P6. It's not looking too bad for Grush either. Alright, what do the top 3 do then? Josh stays out. Eggy stays out. Chubster stays out. Do Mercedes use Chubster here? Because he's the one with the 3 second. He looks a bit quicker than Eggy, though. But Eggy might be just biding his time. Do Mercedes use Chubster to hold Kobe up and make sure he loses as much time as possible so he doesn't reclaim these places? Because at the moment, Eggy, who has one win under his belt already, won the finale last season, would love a second to maybe even take the lead of the championship back from Samurai. I mean, it was this time last season that after all the chaos, Eggy was just that consistent. He did lead the championship for 1 or 2 races. And he's doing just that at the moment. He's looking for a 20th podium in Tier 2. He's got 19 at the moment. 15 of those are P3s. As that's Dello fighting away with Charlie. And he's trying to hang around the outside. And it's not exactly gone great, but they managed to both keep facing forward. So Dello gets the place. And look at that. You can see Kobe's absolutely gaining hand over fist on the top 3. The top 3 last season who were fighting on track was a Sauber, a Mercedes, and a Haas. This season it's a Sauber, a Mercedes, and another Mercedes. As Frosty now gets a 3-second time penalty. So Grush, if he can... Well, he's definitely not going to be within 3 of Kobe by the end. But if he can hold off the rest, 2 behind him with pens, you never know. And on to lap 20. Is Eggy close enough to challenge Josh? Not quite. But he's gone deep. And Eggy might try a switchback because he knows Kobe is gaining rapidly on them as we have 7 laps to go. Eggy with so much battery to use. Josh has quite a lot too. So he's going to stay ahead for now. And that's Christian getting past Charlie, who's into the pit lane. That might help Adam. Charlie onto the mediums. 4.7 now. And it's not like Kobe's tyres are going to be in any worse state than these guys by the end, considering he's on the same tyre. Samurai, he'll be pretty quick considering he's on the mediums, but will he be able to gap Dello by 10 seconds? He's over 10 ahead of Christian. So, wow. He may finish 8th after all this. Wow. So, 3-point lead would only go up to 7. He's 10 points ahead of Eggy at the moment. So, Eggy would lead the championship. He's weaving. He's letting Chubster go, I think. Or not. I really don't know if that was a signal or not. But he's clearly demonstrating some message to his teammate. As, look at that, Kobe's gained so much. They've really stayed behind a lot. And now it's time for Eggy to deploy everything to overtake Josh for the lead. What about Chubster? He's trying, but he's not close enough. Unless he tries a send into 1, but he's not close enough for it. Eggy now becomes, what, the 5th leader of the Grand Prix on lap 21. So Eggy leads the Italian Grand Prix. Kobe with a big slide out of the first chicane. He's really trying to push. But with 3 people all nose to tail, how easy is it going to be for Kobe to make his way through 1, 2, 3 cars by the end of the race? It's not been smooth sailing for the Williams. He's been dominant in qualifying. He was dominant at the start, but he decided to put the mediums on to do the 2-stop. And I'm sure these 3, their tyres will be screaming by the end after having to do 20 laps on them. And it may, at this time in 3 laps, not even be a competition. Kobe could be past all of them. As that's Charlie and Adam fighting away. Adam now knows he'll at least get 1 point because he's got less pens. As that's Bluey and Abra fighting for P12 and P13. And they're going to cross the line with Bluey ahead at the moment. And Kobe's almost in DRS, but he didn't quite get it this time round. 6 laps to go then, once they cross that line. And, oh, that's an incident between Abra and Bluey there into turn 1. Abra avoids all the boards. Bluey will slow down, I think, or maybe go near him, never mind. As we see the top 2 close, but Josh not close enough. And now Kobe is with them. Samurai also getting past Frosty, who's into the pit lane very late in the race. So that might help Samurai get 2 more points. Let's look back to the front then. 4-car fight for the win. And what I haven't even clocked yet is that Kobe not only has to overtake these 3, he has to gap them by 3 seconds because he has that 3-second time penalty. I didn't even realise that until just now. But Kobe already on the attack. Down the inside on Chubster. Just about forces his way through, and that's 1 down, 2 to go. So minimum, it's a podium for Kobe. Chubster tried all he could, but Kobe's got clearly the better tyres, and it really is. How quickly can he pass these guys? Can he get the 3-second gap over Eggy and Josh? That's really wide from Kobe. I don't even think he got hit into. Chubster was way too far behind. So I do not know what on earth happened there with Kobe. But he's nearly lost DRS because of that. And that may have just saved Josh and Eggy for at least one more lap. And that's allowed Chubster to stay within DRS too. Dello gaining a few tenths on Samurai through all that. Christian's managed to still salvage 8th after all these penalties. Chubster! Oh, is he pitted? So Chubster into the pit lane. It looks like those hard tyres really are screaming and are at the end of their life cycle because Chubster's gone into the pit lane and he's sped for the medium so late into the race. That's going to give Samurai another 2 points potentially. Yeah, definitely will because Chubster's not got... He's got more pens. So that is Kobe flying past Josh. Can he potentially get ahead of Eggy? He's going to stay behind for now. Nearly pushing Eggy through the corners. So he's got ahead of the Sauber. And with 4 laps to go, as we have a yellow, that's just Abra Bluey slowing down. On lap 23, 3.5 laps to go. This is Kobe's opportunity now to overtake Eggy. But now he has to get a 3-second gap ahead of these guys, and Eggy will be trying to stick within DRS to make sure that doesn't happen. Into Ascari then, and now Eggy unfortunately gets a 3-second time penalty, and now it's up to Josh, I guess, to stick within 3 seconds of Kobe, unless Kobe can pull away, and then he'll end up with the 3rd second place of the season. That is exactly not what Eggy wanted right there. And we'll see by the end if it has cost him or if Kobe could have got 3 seconds anyway. Oh no, Josh is in. Wow, so those hards really did not make it to the end. They can't do 20 laps to avoid puncture territory. Well, Grush is trying it as Adam gets another penalty. Grush is going to try it because he's currently on for a podium and it's really annoying that Samurai has that 10. So Eggy and Grush, watch out for their tyre wear. Puncture territory soon. And Eggy is sticking within 3 seconds of Kobe. He's going to be kicking himself about getting that warning. As Charlie is into the pit lane. No, that's Adam into the pit lane, unfortunately. And he has retired from the race as well. Both Haas out of the race. Now free Charlie up as Bluey and Abra fight. Bit of contact between the pair. And Kobe still only 6 tenths ahead of Eggy. Eggy can use 1 or 2 warnings now if he wants to, because I'm pretty sure he won't get another pen by the end if he really has to stick close. But he is. He's using all his battery to do so. And as soon as these two cross the line, there'll be no chance of a safety car. Dello now gets a 3-second time penalty. This is really helping Grush's cause, which surely by this stage, you go to the end of the Grand Prix and just risk it. Look at Eggy's front left tyre. It's not exactly in the worst state, but it has seen better days. Eggy, who's 9 tenths behind. Kobe he would have had 3 laps, including this one, to gap Eggy by 2 seconds. Amazingly, Eggy is doing enough. But it's such a shame that he has that 3. He never knows, though, if Kobe might get another time pen. But I'm sure at this stage, Kobe will be well aware of what he has to do and what he has not to do. As Bluey and Abra are clearly fighting for, nothing really. They're going to get lapped soon. I don't know if their scrap has been fun or they're just trying to beat one another. Grush, who after a lot of 1 and 2 stop madness in Japan, ended up getting a podium in his just his 2nd race. And in his 7th, you never know. He could be on for a 2nd podium, which would be brilliant for him. And Eggy, he could afford right now to just slow right down for the last couple laps. He's got an 11-second gap behind. He can afford to lose about 8 seconds to just bring the tyres home. But I'm sure that's not what Eggy wants. Because Kobe's got 2 laps to try and double that advantage to see if he really would have been able to gap Eggy by 3. And it looks like at this trajectory, that might be the case. Kobe might even get a bit of DRS if he catches these guys at the right point. 2 seconds now. Eggy's got nothing left. But they both passed the pit lane, and you can see Grush's front left tyre as he's got Samurai and Dello to deal with. Dello will at least be happy with a P4, and even if he gets a 5-second time penalty... Oh, as he has to dive it late and hit Samurai and spins! That was not in the script. He's given Samurai another 10-second time penalty. Dello. He braked too late, had to avoid Samurai, went to the inside, whacked him across the track. And unfortunately, that's going to see him behind Chubster now, and Dello could get maybe another penalty. Who knows what the result will be by the end. And it's an unfortunate one for Josh. And to be fair, as we have a yellow, I think that's just Charlie, Josh could still see himself as high as 4th here. Because Samurai, I don't know if that 10 will get removed. It probably will. But it's still 10 seconds. As Christian now gets a 3-second time pen. So Josh and Grush have done very well here. And now, there it is, 3 seconds. So even if Eggy didn't get the 3, with 1 lap to spare, Kobe's done enough. And you can clearly see Eggy is just lifting and coasting now. He's going to try and bring it home. He knows he can lose 8 seconds on this lap, and he'll be fine. Just bring it home. Grush and Eggy, who have tried the 1-stop. It looks like it's going to work out for them with a P2 and P3, but you never know. It's the last lap, and punctures are still a big threat to their race. I'm pretty sure oh my god, look at that front left. As Josh gets past Dello, this time round brakes normally. So Josh, within 13 seconds of Chubster, he's well within even 10 seconds of Samurai. So Josh could still salvage 4th here. Grush and Eggy just trying to get their tyres to the end here. You can just see how much Eggy is lifting off from Kobe. He's taking it so cautiously. But he's going to go for a 20th podium in Tier 2. And I think it'll be close between him and Samurai of who leads the championship. He went into today 10 points behind Samurai. He's definitely going to at least be runner-up. But anyway, he's going to be runner-up in the championship and this race, because round the Parabolica for the final time, and for the second time in EXFL Tier 2, it is Kobe coming across the line to take victory here in Monza. Kobe wins the Italian Grand Prix. Eggy round the final corners. Josh now gets a pen right at the end. Eggy held off. It's P2 for him. And it could be potentially the championship lead. Grush is going to come home for P3 right at the end. What a brilliant drive with the 1-stop. As now we'll see, where does everyone else finish? Dello crosses the line. P4 ahead of Josh, because Josh got a pen right at the end. And Chubster 6th. Samurai is 7th. Frosty Life will cross the line soon too. And he beat Samurai as well with that 10-second. Christian P9, really unfortunate race for him. Abraham Bluey were 11th and 12th. 24 seconds would put Samurai back up to 6th. Meaning Eggy would outscore him by 10. Because at the moment he's outscored him by 14. So if Samurai does get his 10 removed, Eggy and Samurai will be level on points. But Samurai will still lead the championship because he has a win and Eggy does not. Well, Stewards Report's going to be fun. Yeah, Kobe wins the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Eggy, who once again keeps up his consistent run to put himself way back into the fight. And Grush, well, brilliant race from him to take a 2nd podium this season. Who's also being very consistent. It was not the race Adam or Evan were after. 2 big names who I thought were certainly going to challenge Kobe. They just got it all wrong today, unfortunately. Some to their own error, some to not. I mean, they kind of came together. Evan rejoined straight into Adam. Yeah, there it is. Kobe. Brilliant race from him. I'm pretty sure that won't be the last we see of his performances. Just got the race director there. Right, Kobe, Eggy, Grush. I can't interview Kobe, but I can interview Eggy and Grush. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed that race. That was a very fun one. Great for some, not so great for others. Right. Eggy, Grush. Right, we have Grush joining the party at the moment. I'm sure Eggy will probably take a few minutes, like he does, to swap over to his Xbox. So yeah, we have P3 joining us. Grush, are you there, mate? Have you included your audio? Have you included your audio? Your audio. Cool. Right, Grush, P3. Your second podium of the season after Japan. Both races included you going for the one stop when others had to go for the two, and you managed to bring your tyres home to the end. Just how was qualifying in the race in general for you?
Late to qualifying, no practice whatsoever. Which, yeah, well, it's always hard at Monza starting at the back because it's turn one and two, as always. But I managed to stay out of trouble and keep the car intact. The only way I would get in anywhere near the front was that one stop. I just had to manage them tyres. A couple of people behind me, they pitted at the left, and it paid off for them. But yeah, I kept the tyres, kept them intact, and yeah, mine is just I think 88% front left.
Wow.
I was just waiting for the punch.
88. Jeez. And you were one of only two people not to get a 3-second time penalty that race, so brilliant consistency there. How many warnings did you actually end up with?
None.
Wow.
No, yeah, I honestly I can't believe it. It's the final chicane that always gets me. I always turn too early or too late and run wide. And you know what? I think it was because of the tyre management. I managed to keep it, within the track limits. So
That is incredible.
yeah,
Very well done then. Because you could see, obviously Kobe had quite a big gap to second, and then from second down to about sixth, they were all starting to form a bit of a train. And you were obviously fighting with Warren for quite a bit, and then you were fighting with Frosty, who disconnected. So you were the next car after that train, and then I'm guessing you just felt a bit more confident once you saw all of them ahead start to pit one by one.
yeah. Just I looked at the tyre. I looked at the laps, and I think with maybe 10 laps left or 9 laps left, I had about just over 50% wear on that front left. And I thought, you know what, if I just look after him and the other people do pit, then Samurai had 10-second penalty. I'm assuming the pit
Mhm.
extra warning. I just had to keep it within him because I knew that he would first position. So it caught me quickly, but then he just started to drop off a little bit. I weren't going to fight him. If it come anywhere near me, I'd let him straight through. But as long as I was keeping within that 10 seconds, I knew I could have got that without a punch. I could have got that podium.
88%. Wow. Because as soon as you hit 75, you obviously have a chance. But as soon as you surpass 80, it could literally happen at any point. So you must have,
Lap,
yeah, you must have hit 80 on the second last lap or something.
lap 26, I knew that there was a Ferrari and Samurai behind me, Williams, and I was hoping that they would fight so I could just relieve that pressure on that front left. But yeah, I think I hit 82 on lap 25, and from that point on, I was praying, really. I was praying. As soon as I come on that last corner, you should have seen me. I was just roaring. It made it. Proud.
Great stuff. Bit similar to Eggy, actually. You both obviously tried the one stop. You both made it to the podium. You both this season have been incredibly consistent to get these great points. I mean, we'll ignore Imola. That was maybe your one-off. I do have to ask because I kind of forgot what happened in Imola again. Was it? It wasn't you involved in that first lap thing, right? It was Yonder and
No,
no, it was Dello and
yeah,
someone else. You finished
yeah.
ninth in the end, I think.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's not one of my strong tracks, and I think I just got a bit careless,
Mm.
coming out of corners and putting the power down too quickly. And I'm trying different setups then as well
Mm.
to try and maintain a bit more top end speed because I had a lot of downforce recently on Imola. So I think that was just one of them kind of races where
Yeah.
you just forget, and it was kind of a learning curve.
Bit like today, you joined very late in Imola, so no practice as well. But a brilliant race today. That actually puts you level on points with Adam, who's won the last two races, not including today. Yeah, so you're both on 68 points. That is nearly averaging 10 points a race for you. So brilliant stuff.
It was fun, man. It
Yep.
was fun.
So that puts you. Kobe won today, 65. Yeah, you're still ahead of Kobe, who won today.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
So you
Consistency pays off, man.
exactly.
Consistency pays
And
off.
who I'm about to interview next is the king of consistency as of right now. But yeah, you and Adam both on 68. Kobe will be on 65. So you're still fifth in the championship, which is great. Well, joint fourth technically now, which is amazing to see. Only 14 points off Navik, who didn't score anything today. But yeah, we'll move on to P2. Well done on the podium today. I'm sure that won't be your last for this season. So yeah, on to P2. Eggy, are you there, mate? Have you included your audio?
Yeah.
All right, P2 today, Eggy. It was P3, P4. It was P3 on the grid, wasn't it? You were looming around P2, P3 most of the session. It seems like Kobe just had the pace in qualifying. What exactly happened on your last run?
Uh, I think I invalidated on the second Lesmo.
Ah, right. I think when I started spectating you, I think I caught you literally just after the Lesmo, and I saw your thing was red.
Yeah.
So I saw, Aggie's third, Christian's on the front row then. So it was a P3 start. And yeah, take us. Well, maybe you were ahead of all of it, but I'm pretty sure you must have saw some of it. What exactly happened in the first two corners from your POV?
I actually didn't see it. I mean,
Fair
I
enough.
got up to P2 and then I just heard some collisions behind. Yeah.
So actually, maybe I'll bring it back to Grush real quick. Grush, what did you see into the first two corners?
A lot of debris, to be honest. I had Charlie come down the outside, and then the second turn, I just had a little bit of clear track going around the outside, and then all of a sudden, it was just a mangle of cars, to be honest. I come out there last, I'll be honest with you, and I progressed from there. I was happy to be coming out of there in one piece, to be honest.
That's fair. And obviously, both of you managed to make it on the podium. Yeah, for like two different stories at the start, but both second and third due to your amazing tyre handling with the strategy. So yeah, Eggy, you were P2. It looked like you were keeping the gap at first to Kobe, but then it looked like you were losing about half a second to 8/10 a lap, and then you fell under pressure from Dello and Josh. There was one point where Dello, heading into Ascari, I think overtook you, and he cut the inside of Ascari to get ahead of you.
Yeah.
Considering you finished second and Dello finished way behind you, are you going to bother sending that in, reporting it, or
No,
not? No,
I didn't
don't
even
think so.
notice.
Fair enough. Because I was wondering at that point if you would even notice as well. It depended if he was near you by the end of the race, but obviously it doesn't really matter now. So yeah, you fought well with the guys. There was that big train with a few laps to go. Was it Samurai, Dello, Josh, yourself, and then your teammate joined the train. So when Kobe pitted, and then when a few others started to pit, was the plan for you always the one stop, or because others were pitting, did you think I'm going to go for the one stop now?
No, already at the beginning of the race, I saw about at the halfway point it stops raining, and I was pretty confident that I could do the whole second stint on hards.
And Grush was on 88% by the end. What were yours?
76, something like that.
Wow. Now that is, wow, 20 laps, 76%.
Yeah.
So that's 3.8 per lap. Wow, fair enough. So really, only until the last lap did you have any threat of a puncture, I guess. So brilliant management there. So yeah, it was you fighting with Josh and then Chubster. I do have to ask, you weaved a little on the back straight. What was that all about? What was the message to your teammate there?
Yeah, I saw he was trying to attack me a bit, and I wanted to tell him that I want to attack Josh on the next straight, so that maybe we can both get past.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, then you did get past Josh, and then Kobe got past Chubster, then you got past Josh, and then he got past you. And I don't know if it was commentator's curse, but obviously I said Eggy just has to try and stick within 3 of Kobe, and as soon as I said that, unfortunately, you did get your 3-second heading into Ascari. Once you got that, was the plan just to... I mean, you still stuck with him for a lap or so, but I'm guessing as soon as the gap did get to 3 seconds and any threat of Kobe getting another time pen, you, in the last 2 laps, was the plan just to completely back off, just get the tyres to the end?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you walk away with your 20th podium in Tier 2 now. That's 15 P3s, 4 P2s, and 1 P1. And Samurai, as much as he got 20 seconds in the end, I believe 10 might get removed because he got sent over the chicane. He finished 8th. If we remove 10, it puts him to 6th. And you were 10 points behind him heading into this, and you've just outscored him by 10 points. So, you and Samurai are level on points for the World Championship. However, Samurai obviously has 1 win to your 0, so he still leads. But I'm pretty much going to call it. You are now technically also leading the World Championship. So that's a great last few races for you. Is that 2, 3 podiums in a row now?
3, I think.
Qatar.
Yeah.
Did you finish? Oh yeah, Qatar, because of all the punctures. Yeah. So brilliant consistency from you to see yourself back at the top now. It was a bit of a shock to see Evan retire. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, I was involved a bit there because he hit me into the pit lane and lost a bit of his front wing.
I saw that. Yeah.
So.
Oh, is that where he lost his front wing? No, I think.
I don't know.
No, so you know through Lesmo 1 and 2, you obviously saw an Aston Martin sideways, right? Because he just lost it into the wall.
Yeah.
That's where he got his damage.
Oh.
I caught that. I caught him straight after that, and I could clearly see he was missing his right end plate.
Okay.
So when he went into the pit lane and hit you, I'm pretty sure that didn't do anything. But I'm pretty sure Evan may have forgot to change his wing, because then 1 lap later he went in the pits and retired. So yeah, that's going to drop him down to 3rd in the standings. Samurai scored, well, I'm going to assume 8 points today, so Evan drops to only 11 behind, actually. At one point, I thought Samurai was going to clearly win, and then he went to the pit lane. Then he sped, and must have had 5 or 6 different leaders in that race. So yeah, very, very fun one. And as much as I can't interview Kobe, well done to him on the win, and well done to Eggy and Grush on their great podiums. Next time out will be the Spanish Grand Prix. Just going to double check that. It is. So next time out is the Spanish Grand Prix. I'll just go back to you, Grush. Final question. How are you feeling about Spain next week?
Yeah, it's one of my stronger tracks. Other leagues I've finished quite well there before, but you can't count your chickens, can you, before any race? And hopefully I can get a bit of practice in beforehand.
Great stuff. Eggy, what about you? How are you feeling for Spain?
Historically, not my favorite track, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Spain was obviously the track last season where you took the championship lead.
Yeah.
So I guess in this case, you have to beat Samurai next week to take the championship lead officially. We'll see how that goes. Spain, yeah, you can get some 3-second pens here and there. Not as bad as this or last week, but I mean, you two are pretty great at not getting pens anyway. So that should hopefully benefit you. So yeah, well done on today. Good luck for next week. That has been the Tier 2 Season 11 Italian Grand Prix, Round 7. We'll see you next week for Round 8 at Barcelona.